Hello, in this video I'm going to be showing you two replays in the Furutaka, which is the Japanese Tier 5 cruiser. It was just introduced in this latest patch. And it's also the first heavy cruiser you will encounter in game. I'm not sure if I actually like this ship or not. Its 6 guns are very powerful for its tier, but there are some very big weaknesses with the ship, which we'll get into in a minute. Its survivability is fine, it's 30,700 combat capacity is alright. It doesn't have fantastic armour, but you don't really expect the cruiser to. Its guns are interesting. 13 kilometer range, they are 203mm guns, which are 8 inches for people who use Imperial units, which are the most powerful cruiser guns at this tier, and they are very effective at killing enemy cruisers. They can't reliably penetrate battleship armour, but can switch to high explosive ammunition, at which point they still do a lot of damage and have a 16% chance of causing a fire. The downside of the guns is they only have a 3.5 rounds per minute rate of fire, which means killing destroyers can be very difficult. And they've also got a 45-second turret traverse time, which, well, there are battleships with quicker turret traverse than that, which kind of means that it's difficult to use the manoeuvrability of the ship, since its turrets can't actually keep up with your manoeuvring. And basically, to maintain a decent broadside, you've got to keep firing away or go on a straight course until, to keep the guns on target. Secondary armament, it's got 420mm guns, which are there, but they aren't all that useful. It has torpedoes, but they're not really that useful. You've got 3 per side, a single triple launcher, which means that, well, 14,000 damage is a lot per torpedo, but you won't really be sinking battleships with a single broadside if you get in close. The other downside of this is that the torpedoes only have a 6 kilometer range, so you do have to get in close to use them. And as such, I just didn't use them very often. AA guns, it's kind of useless. It's got these 420mm guns again, which they are dual purpose guns, but apparently you need 6 of them on your ship to be able to use the Y ability, or what they call it, the one that gets you to double your anti-aircraft fire for a short period of time, and basically will disrupt enemy attack patterns. This ship can't do it. Other than those 120mm guns, it has 4 heavy machine guns, which you can see up here, and 2 light machine guns up on the bridge here. So, yeah, it's actually really incredibly weak with AA guns. I've managed to shoot down, I think, a couple of aircraft, but that was more due to luck than anything. It has a maximum speed of 35 knots, which is pretty good. Does a trick. It's probably even faster than you need, but that's the situation you'd like to be in. Turning circle and rudder shift time are both pretty good, but like I say, you can't really use them that often because your gun turrets can't keep up with your manoeuvrability, so they're only really for emergency use. Having said that, they are good enough to be able to dodge torpedoes, at least most of the torpedoes most of the time, even if you're not paying attention, so in that case it's very good to have. In terms of concealment, it's actually pretty good for a cruiser. As in, this heavy cruiser is actually stealthier than the Tier 5 American light cruiser, the Omaha, at least in surface detectability. But cruisers don't really rely on their stealth, and it only gives you 0.8 of a kilometer to fire at the enemy before they'll spot you anyway, so it's not all that useful. Basically, it gets you 1 broadside in, and if you can get a citadel hit or 2 in there, you might do well. So yeah, that's the Furutaka. As I said, it's 1 strength, it's got very powerful guns, 6 203mm gun broadsides, very powerful, and they can penetrate through the armour of your opposition pretty easily. It's basically just everything else. Oh, and it's also got good manoeuvrability for dodging torpedoes. It's just, like I say, everything else that's weak about the turret reverse. It's very weak. Poor AA guns, poor torpedoes, or... Well, they're poor torpedoes compared to the torpedoes you just had on the Kuma and the ones you will get on the Alba at Tier 6. So like I say, I'm not actually sure if I like this ship or not. It seems like it's going to be a very powerful ship if you can get your opponents to play to your playstyle. Anyway, let's get into the replays. So here's our first game in the Furutaka, and... well, sorry, this wasn't my first game, it's the first game I'm going to show you. And to kind of set the start a bit, I'm not really sure how to play this ship. My instinct is to go, it's a heavy cruiser, so its first job should be to escort the battleships. But of course, I can't actually do anything to protect them from aircraft, and this isn't actually a great ship for killing destroyers, since my turret reverse is so slow and I have a very slow rate of fire on my guns. So, I'm not really sure what I'm escorting them, or what I'm protecting the battleships from. But I still usually do it, because what else would I do? So I started off heading down south here, because I thought that's the way my battleships were going. But it turns out I was wrong, and everybody's heading up to the west. So I'm going to do a circle, and go around to help out the battleships. Downside of that is that my guns are all going to be pointing in the wrong direction, but hopefully no enemies will pop up in the next 45 seconds or so. As you see there, my guns are about halfway to pointing in the correct direction. Okay, and actually I've managed to turn tight in a few of my guns, so now they're actually getting left behind by the tightness of my turn. But when I straighten out here, they should be able to catch up. And some enemy aircraft have been spotted kind of heading in our direction. These dive bombers I'm not really that concerned about, so I order my AA guns to target the torpedo bombers. Not that they can really do much, but they do a little bit of damage, and hopefully the battleships behind me might get an extra kill out of it. So there go my secondary guns, and there go my machine guns. They look cool and they sound cool, but they're completely ineffective. I have actually managed to put myself in the correct spot here, so I'm intercepting all these bombers before they get through the battleships. But what I didn't actually expect was that they're not actually going for the battleships. Those torpedoes are coming for me, and while I hadn't started dodging, because as I said I wasn't expecting to come at me, and some evasive maneuvering, I managed to dodge them all. So like I was saying, this ship has the manoeuvrability that you can dodge torpedoes even when you're not paying attention. All I did there was jam the rudder to port, I believe that side is, and also full astern on the engine, and I was able to dodge them all. I mean, shot down absolutely no aircraft, but that's not that important really, because now that aircraft carrier has to wait basically another minute before they can launch any more attacks. So I was thinking of firing at that destroyer, wasn't really a shot. So firing away at this cruiser, and it looks like they might all miss. Yep, definitely all missed. Okay, here's a destroyer, and I should be trying to kill these guys. But as you can see, my rate of fire is not really that spectacular here. I'm switching to high explosive ammunition because it's better for killing destroyers. My shells will just punch straight through it otherwise. Unless I get lucky and hit the citadel. Okay, destroyer again, looks like it might be about to run aground. But don't really think I've shot it, so I switch back to the cruiser. And I prefer firing armor-piercing at cruisers, but high explosive will still do some damage. It might even start a fire. But, of course, I miss again. Second go.
The enemy team is taking the lead.
4 hits and I managed to start a fire, but it looks like it put it out pretty well instantly. Which means if I can start another fire very quickly, it won't be able to put it out. Turn around and make sure I'm going to hit that battleship. And then I managed to start a second fire, get 4 more hits. So I'm going to get a fair bit of damage from that, since that ship's going to be burning for a while. I mostly managed to clear the top of that island. But it doesn't seem like we got any hits. Oh no, but we managed to sink that ship.
Enemy cruisers
fire burning it. Well, not probably, definitely through fire burning it since it didn't hit it. Take a couple of shots at this destroyer. And they fell short. I'm going to turn my ship to try and bring my other guns to bear, but doing so would allow the destroyer to get separation on me. So I can only fire with really my front 2 guns at the moment. And I decide to change my course to essentially start heading down towards B kind of eventually. Which of course means that my guns under these front 2 are now all pointing in the wrong direction. So it's going to be a while till I can bring them all to bear anyway. But it kind of doesn't matter because I'm just not hitting this destroyer. Although I can't really expect to at this kind of range. Get a hit. No idea how much damage it did, of course, because I can't see the destroyer anymore. And there are some torpedo bombers up ahead being engaged by friendly fighters. But so they're not a threat right now, but it's something to keep an eye on. Again, not that I can do anything about them, but it's still better that I take a few shots at them and hopefully the battleship might be able to get an easier kill out of it. Or an easier aircraft kill. Launching my scout plane just to see if there are any torpedoes heading my way more than anything.
Scout launched.
That destroyer's going to be coming around the headland soon, so hopefully we might be able to put a few more shots into it here. I was kind of thinking about, well, arguing with myself whether I should be focused on this destroyer or the ships to my left, but I decided the destroyer is probably the one I should be going for. It looks like those torpedo bombers are coming again, probably at the battleship behind me though, but you never know. I managed to get that island, but none of those managed to hit the destroyer. See those one machine guns at point blank range, and they did basically nothing. I say that, they would have done a bit of damage to those aircraft, which are now flying back over me. So this is about the best situation you could ever hope for to get a kill. Of course I did. Put a few shots into that destroyer and then start turning and reversing to try and dodge its torpedoes. But I take 1 hit, which isn't too bad.
We're home below the waterline. We're flooding quickly.
Heading towards our battleship. So I want to actually get around here quickly and
Problem solved, sir.
try and kill it. But my first 3 shots miss. Oh, sorry, my first 3 shots miss. Next 3 shots. There we go, managed to get the kill.
Enemy destroyer foundered.
That was kind of not the right way to kill a destroyer, but it worked in the end. I only had to take 1 torpedo to do it. Now, of course, I'm being dive bombed. But I'm keeping my ship broadside onto the dive bombers, which makes it very difficult for them to hit me. And I managed to get through both waves of attackers unscathed. Also, it put me just out of range of the enemy ships I was hoping to shoot at, but we can turn around quickly enough and get them back within range. Like I said, I was thinking of going out to B, but there are a lot of enemy ships in there, so that kind of wouldn't be that smart for me to do right now. Instead, I'm just going to kind of fire at long range and hopefully do a bit of damage to these battleships. I'm also kind of aware that I'm basically heading on the same course as those dive bombers now, which means I'm probably about to run into the enemy carriers, which would be very valuable to get out of the game. Enemy battleship, a South Carolina on very low health, and I know it's a very slow ship, so I don't think I have to lead all that much to hit it. Well, it started turning, so probably lost even more speed, and those shots are hopefully they look good. One hit and it managed to start a fire, which the battleship puts out, which means I've probably got about 2 minutes now to set it on fire again before it can put its next fire out. And even though I've got 200mm guns here, I could not reliably penetrate the armour of this South Carolina, at least at this range. So I'm still using high explosive on it, just for that reason. I think of switching to the aircraft carrier, but instead I'm just trying to aim or put my ship towards those torpedo bombers and hope I can dodge torpedoes, which I managed to do again, but I decided I should focus on this battleship first because it's probably the big threat to me personally. 3 more shots, still no fire, which is what I really want to kill this guy. I managed to take out my torpedo tubes, which is unfortunate. But, well, it's actually still in my torpedo range, so I wouldn't be using them anyway. I have to stop manoeuvring to get my guns to fire. Unfortunately, the battleship misses all but that last shot. Dive bombers coming in, looks like they all missed again. Something's torpedoing me. Torpedo bombers, that makes sense. Wasn't paying attention. But again, I'm able to just dodge them. This must be very frustrating for these carrier drivers. I have managed to set the battleship on fire. I managed to shot down an enemy aircraft. Battleship's within range of my torpedoes now, it has been for a while, so I fire off the 3 of them. And let's take that my engine, so I have to repair that quickly.
Critical engine damage.
And it looks like my torpedoes won't actually reach it. Got one more hit there, but that fire is probably going to kill it. Nope, my torpedoes arrived, so I managed to kill it with my torpedoes. So now I have to focus on these aircraft carriers. And my ship's burning, a minute till I can repair. I'm not sure whether that was from dive bombers or the aircraft carrier's secondary guns, but either way, I'm actually in a bad spot here. But my high explosive shells can rip straight through these aircraft carriers. The only real problem I have at the moment is that there's a lot of aircraft flying around and I'm not sure which ones have torpedoes or bombs loaded and which ones don't. But those dive bombers going to land, there were torpedoes in the water, which I completely wasn't prepared for. And they were very well aimed, so I take one of them, and it's enough to sink me. So, well, I'm pretty happy with that game, to be honest. Managed to sink a battleship and a destroyer, and got 3 kills? What was the third one? Whatever, I did a lot. But, this is how the game ends. See, we were about to win, and then the enemy aircraft carrier managed to sink one of our battleships. And it's just this guy all by itself in the South Carolina, which is just way too slow to do anything. So we are going to lose by points right at the end here, despite holding 2 of the 3 cap zones, which is a bit annoying, especially since, well, at the point where I died, we actually, well, the only enemy ships left were the aircraft carriers, and the aircraft carriers basically managed to pull their team through. And there we go, we lose. Only just, but a loss is a loss. But when you get down to it, 899 experience and the loss isn't bad, still made 115,000 credits. Top in my, no I wasn't top in my team, I was third in my team. With 3 kills, shot down 2 aircraft, which is a bit odd, but they were all buzzing around me at the end. I didn't actually hit with any armour-piercing shells, but I did a fair bit of damage through high explosive and a little bit extra through fire. My torpedo did a little bit of damage, just finishing that ship off before my fire could. And you'll see here, took a fair bit of damage, but basically all from those 2 torpedoes that managed to hit me, and a few from high explosive shells, probably mostly from that battleship. But I still think I did alright in that game. Would have been better if I could have shot a bit straighter, or if I had have spotted those last bunch of torpedoes coming in, then I would have been able to dodge them, but it just wasn't to be. Anyway, this next game, it's on Ocean, which, as you all know, is, well, as you might know, is probably my favourite map in the game at the moment. And again, I'm just kind of looking how I should play it at the start. And I'm thinking, again, probably this battleship right here I should be escorting. And it looks like it's going to head north, so I'll just get onto the other side of it and kind of parallel its course a bit. As I say, I don't really know what to do at the start of the game with this, because it seems obvious, like, well, not obvious, but the obvious thing to do is to escort the battleships, but I can't really do much. I mean, the Furutaka is great at killing light cruisers, but kind of struggles against everything else thanks to its limitations in armament. So I mean, I suppose I'm actually protecting it from the enemy Omaha and Cleveland, which I think are the only light cruisers in this game. Actually, I think there are 2 Clevelands and an Omaha. But those 3 ships, they couldn't really do that much damage to the battleship anyway. But, regardless, I'm in a decent position to escort it, where essentially I should bump into the enemy before the battleship does. And I've reduced my speed to 3/4, since I know the Colorado's quite a slow battleship. And we'll just trundle along until we encounter the enemy and we can start reacting to their positions and whatnot. I've also put my scout plane up kind of when I got into position, just to help us spot things a bit earlier. But still not really anything spotted. There's a few enemy ships way off to our west there, but well beyond our range, and there are a few friendly ships over there to engage them. Somebody's firing blind into the ocean there on our side, which I wouldn't recommend since it makes you a lot more visible, and you might find you get a bunch of return fire from, you know, enemy ships as opposed to the ocean. Okay, something spotted way up in the north, and there are fighters coming in, but I can't do anything about the fighters, so I'll just ignore them. And, well, there we go, there's the Omaha, which, well, let's see, that's basically what my ship was designed to kill. And it looks like there's a Cleveland right behind us and another cruiser over there. So, well, I figure it's time to speed up and I'll go and engage these ships, since they're basically the ones I can kill on the enemy team. Cleveland, the Omaha looks like it's gonna head out of our engagements, whereas the Cleveland's probably going to head into our firing range pretty quickly. So I'm looking at you, Mr. Cleveland. And I've loaded armor piercing because I'm pretty confident that I can punch straight through its armor and hit the Citadel and do a lot of damage with the armor piercing shells. But I'm just going to turn broadside on to get all my guns ready to fire, which I can now. And there they go. Managed to get a few hits, but they landed a bit further forward than I would like. And you can see my fire is not actually that great on these guns, but they can do a fair bit of damage if they don't overpenetrate the ship, which is what most of those shots did, except one of them managed to take out one of its turrets, and another one hit the Citadel for 4,000 damage. So that Cleveland's not in that great a shape right now. 6 shells heading its way. Managed to take out, I think, one of the secondary guns there, but that's not as important. Got 3 more hits though, did a bit more damage, but I think most of those shells over-penetrated. And now I switch back to the Omaha, because the Cleveland's getting... well, the Omaha's at fairly short range, so I should be able to hit it pretty consistently here. I'm actually only flying with 5 of my turrets at the moment, which I didn't realise. So I start changing my course. Managed to get one more Citadel hit there for just under
target penetrated.
Here's my 6th shell heading out. And while it over-penetrates, only does 470 damage. Essentially that means it gets straight up the other side of the ship. As did those two hits there. So essentially my guns are actually too powerful for engaging this ship. That one penetrated properly, 1500 damage. And then we've got one more citadel hit and two regular hits.
Confirmed penetration.
So it's lost half of its health. It looks like it's actually turning around to fire torpedoes at this battleship. Managed to get another citadel hit.
Target penetrated.
Hit. Nope, they all missed. Looks like the battleship managed to finish it off there. And here we have a Miyoko, which is a very powerful ship. It's basically the Japanese cruiser, 2 tiers top. And well, I'm still actually over-penetrating it. Fire my torpedoes. I'm guessing it's actually going to come straight at me, so I fire straight at it, but it doesn't. It changes its course in the opposite direction. So those torpedoes are completely useless. Managed to get a citadel hit in there. Actually, at the moment, I'm just trying to pull back because I'm not confident I can win a fight with this guy. I see it's firing torpedoes at me. Well, at one of our team. And there are battleships coming up. I actually managed to get 2 more citadel hits there. So while I'm not confident that I'm able to win the fight with this guy, I actually am probably winning it, to be honest. I mean, everything says it should have as much, well, 10 guns as opposed to my 6, and its guns fire a lot quicker than me. So I shouldn't be able to win, but I'm just aiming better. But now, because we've actually both turned really enough to it, we actually can't really bring our guns to bear on each other. It also has slow turret reverse.
Scout airborne.
You see it switched its focus to that. See dive bombers coming straight at me. Actually, noticed to all those dive bombers attack damage to set me on fire, but I put the fire out.
Problem solved, sir.
And the Miyoki is actually running back towards the friend wall, running battleship cruiser. There are its torpedoes, well behind me. And well, this should take a few more shots at the Miyoki, since it's there. It's in a situation where the Cleveland's, well, I'm not in a better position to fire at the Cleveland than the Miyoki. But I think we'll keep shooting at Miyoki just to try and knock it out of the game as quick as we can. Another citadel hit. I'm getting very good at hitting those citadels. Like I say, the shells on this gun, they're powerful enough that they will probably, they have a good chance of over-penetrating like that one did. But when they do hit the citadel, they're more than strong enough to just punch straight through the armour of basically any cruiser or below. It's just the battleships that has been trouble with. Anyway, we've switched to the Cleveland. Managed to get one shot on Cleveland. And all 3 of those shells hit, but right at the end of the ship, so I'm a bit further forward, which is unfortunate because the Cleveland's actually turning. So all of those shots miss. Warships firing at me, but it missed. A few more shots at Cleveland here. And yeah, so I'm kind of lucky that the enemy aren't shooting at me here, since I'm basically having to maintain a straight course since I want to keep my guns on target. Anyway, fired a full broadside here because I wanted to switch to high explosive to focus down this battleship. But I actually managed to do 4,600 damage from 3 hits, so I did actually manage to penetrate that guy's armour at this range. I mean, not the Citadel, but its regular armour. So it might have been a mistake switching to high explosive here. But I think it works out alright for us. We managed to set a fire and the enemy ship, well, dies from something else. And now I've got high explosive loaded for firing away at this Cleveland. I just want to get my guns around on the right side. 2 shots at it. To 1200 damage. Which is pretty alright, but nothing compared to the 4000 or so you get from piercing. Explosive shells in, and we should let fire it starting on us. Fire our torpedoes because it's within range. But it really doesn't look like it's going to last long enough. And I'm just going to wait for our guns to get round on target, which is mostly too low at this point. And there we go. And we managed to sink it.
Enemy cruiser
and
foundered.
Now, this is kind of an awkward spot to be in. There are 3 enemy ships in our base, which are capping it, and they're actually out of my range at the moment, but what I can shoot at is the enemy aircraft carrier. I essentially decide not to go straight at the aircraft carrier. Instead I'm going to try and head on a course that's going to eventually take me back to our base so I can help out there. But while we're here, we may as well fire away at the enemy aircraft carrier. What I didn't realise I'd done is that I'd actually reduced my speed back down to 3/4. So I'm actually not going anywhere near my full speed here, I just didn't realise it. I just thought it was taking me a while to get back to base. But those shots with high explosive, I actually managed to get 3 Citadel hits and destroy its engine there. So as you see, it's not doing very well here this year. Unfortunately, I'm just unable to start a fire on its deck, which is what I really want to do, since that will prevent it launching aircraft. Luckily my team managed to hit one of the ships in our base, so they haven't done quite yet. More shells out, but this is basically at my maximum range now. Managed to get 2 hits. And I'm probably going to get time for one more broadside. Which is about right, since the enemy in the base are actually within my range now. Oh, managed to sink the enemy.
We've sunk an enemy aircraft carrier.
That last shot is not going to be able to take. So now it's time to deal with the base. And there are actually only 2 enemy ships in our base at the moment. This Pensacola here is the only one in the base at range that I can, or at a range that I can shoot at it. So I figure I'm going to hit this one first and try and get rid of its capture points. But I miss. And I'm continuing to fire high explosive because it won't ever bounce off the ship's armour if it hits like that, so that should always take away its capture points. However, the battleship is still not in range, so we continue firing the Pensacola, which is also firing at me, which is very bad because it's a much more powerful than the heavy cruiser. That starts to fire, it takes out 2 of my turrets with that broadside, but I reckon that Fuso's now within range, so I'm firing away at it. And hopefully these shots hit, because I believe the Fuso's can only do capture points. And yes it does, and I'm able to set it on fire and take away a lot of the enemy's capture points, so that we're actually in the lead right now. Which means we probably will win unless our friendly ship leaves the capture circle. Managed to get some more hits on the Pensacola and take away a bunch of its capture points. So I'll switch back to the Fuso. Oh sorry, no, the enemy still has a chance of winning because we've got 2 ships coming to that. And it looks like someone took all the Fuso's points before me, but I still managed to get a couple of hits on it. And the Pensacola is now destroyed. It's actually this Fuso's last ship left on the enemy team. Unfortunately, the Pensacola has basically almost killed me, but I'm still going to keep firing away at this Fuso. And there we go, 4 hits and managed to start a massive fire there, but the Fuso's firing back at me. Fortunately, they miss. Because it's basically, if the battleship hits me now, I'm basically dead unless it over-penetrates. 4 more hits, do a bit more damage. It looks like the front gun turret on that Fuso has been destroyed there. It's taking a lot of damage from, well, both my fire and the fire of all the enemy ships. One of those shells missed because it was turning. It fires 2 more at me. One goes high, one goes low, so I get lucky there as well. and our friendly ships have been absolutely eaten, but we're still winning thanks to us continually decapping this battleship, and that shot hit me and over-penetrated. Fire my torpedoes because I can, it's within range, I'm about to die anyway. And all my allies managed to take it out, so they basically saved my life. Pretty sure I would have died in a second or two. And we'll look at that, 70 regular hits, a couple of critical hits, and 12 citadel hits, as well as starting 3 fires and destroying 2 enemy ships. So that was a very good game. Best on my team, which isn't that surprising, 2400 experience, which is quite a lot. This is at 60,000 odd damage with AP, 32,000 with high explosive, a bit from that fire, mostly on the battleship at the end there. And I also managed to reduce 75 capture points, which is really, well actually that's pretty much good. It's basically saying that if I wasn't there, the enemy team probably would have won. Well, that's assuming if an allied ship wouldn't have hit it. As you see there, took a bit of damage from bombs, but mostly from high explosive shells, which people are firing a lot at the moment. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.